As Mr. Vijayawardena very correctly pointed out, there are four stakeholders actually: microfinance institutions and the commercial banks, the beneficiaries, and the authority. As a central bank, now I am in the last category. But as Mr. Vijayawardena correctly pointed out again, in this area was not recognized as a prominent area in this country so far. That's a great problem. But anyway, the other three stakeholders have to play a great role with the support of the authority actually. The central bank now these days are very keen to develop this sector, and also we have given our comments and views on the proposed Microfinance Act, and actually it was drafted in the central bank itself. Therefore, authority is not totally given away or given up this microfinance industry. Authority means the central bank, and now it is with the government. The government will also contribute. I think the next week or two, the later, there will be a discussion with the stakeholders of the industry, including a microfinance network and the central bank regulators, and Minister of Finance and Planning. Therefore, I think authority will contribute more in future, because in the morning I explained, now everything has been changed subsequent to the end of civil conflict in the country. The entire picture has been changed. The macroeconomic variables have been, changed in favor for the financial inclusiveness and more outreach or expansion. And I agree with Mr. Vijayawardena also. If 5% allocation out of their profit is just enough to revival in this sector. We should not depend on foreign capital or foreign donors or whatever. I think the HNB has taken on this line, and they have put forward some proposals. The central bank has no objection. I think, and the Bank of Ceylon is also put up a paper requesting the central bank to start a separate unit, and also People's Bank and some other financial companies also, LOLC, PLC, merchant banks, all they have understood the value and the the importance of the micro lending and microfinancing, the development of the poor and the rural sector. That is from my guru, from Mr. Vijayawardena, and also I agree with him, the subsidy syndrome, because we have to deviate from this syndrome, and we have to develop the self-reliant mentality. Accordingly, on the advice of the Mr. Vijayawardena, when he was in the capacity of Deputy Governor, we developed some training modules. Now they are in place. Mr. Vijayawardena, I have to mention that. We have developed two modules, one for the engaged commercial banks, the lenders. We are dealing with only the registered banks, not with the microfinance institutions. We have developed a module for the bankers, and also we have developed a module for beneficiaries. I must say 2-3 words about the module for the training module for beneficiaries. That is not only mainly focused on beneficiaries, but the TOT program, training of trainers program. They will convey the message to the last beneficiary. And we have understand with our 30 years or 20 years involvement in this sector, the poor beneficiary has no vision for his future. Therefore, we have focus on the vision building in his mindset. The first is a vision. Then we actually agree with Dr. Kirivandeni as well as Mr. T.N.C. Vijay Tilaka. It should be a group effort or the cluster-based or association-based approach. Therefore, the next module is collective action, collective planning. Then the third is collective action for themselves. And fourth is saving. Then the final one is the income generating activities. On all these five sessions or modules, the beneficiary will be enriched or enlightened how to get out of poverty. That is now in place. Now we have already conducted several programs under Poverty Elevation Microfinance Project Phase 2 that is funded by JICA from the soft loan given to the government by the government of Japan. Now almost 90,000 people have been already organized in the eastern and the northern province and some other areas. Almost all these people have been gone through these modules to educate them, as Mr. Vijay Tilaka correctly pointed out, and also Dr. Kirivandeni agreed. We have to start in the total approach, the total development of the people. In India, it's somebody here maybe, in India there's a bank called Syndicate Bank. They have implemented a program that's called Sampurna, the development Sampurna. Sampurna in Sinhala word, also Sanskrit word, that's mean total development approach. Then we also taken that essence of that concept, and in our programs, we are working with 19 participatory financial institutions. Also, we have given room to the microfinance institution also come through the participating financial registered banks, and we deal with those banks and we train their people. We have conducted nearly 50 programs for bank officers so far. How to approach these people, what would be the proper approach, what would be the cost-effective outreach, expansion, and like that. Many the issues we have discussed with this banking crowd, banking people, banking staff. I am very happy to say that we have already nearly 500 bank officers in the grassroots level today to bring this message to the people and organize them in clusters or groups or whatever, the societies or whatever. Then some of the societies are linked directly with the banks, and some banks, I must say, some banks use these the grassroots level societies as their conduits to provide retail lending through the societies. And I agree with Mr. Vijay Tilaka also. He's a pioneer in this area, and also Dr. Kirivandeni, and so that is a very big, small beginning. They have to go to the top level. You have to start from the bottom. But so far, the formal sector has neglected this area. But now, I must say, as a central banker, with the guidance of our governor, Ajit Niwat Cabral, always at the CEO's meeting, we mentioned the bank should go to the bottom. Recently, we have taken decision to allow opening of branches in the remote areas. They were well known, all the bankers. If you want to open in a branch in a urban area, you have to open 2 branches in the remote areas. That was the one policy. And the expansion of the banking industry will be strengthened. And during last 6 months, we have approved nearly 100 outlets or branches of commercial banks and financial institutions or registered financial institutions. They all have been requested, particularly in the north and east, to cater the needy people in those areas. At the moment, we focus on those two provinces because, as so you all know, they were suffered 30 years old civil conflict. Therefore, rebuilding is very necessary. Therefore, we focus on that area. Then when we start from the bottom, so although we have neglected so far, everybody realize now the bottom has is a ground. As Mr. Vijay correctly pointed out, that he come to a middle level, then the cluster, the corporate level, and sometimes the upper level. As Dr. Kirivandeniya said, he has a social values. Actually, we have not looked after that aspect in our programs, but when we implement these programs, that area also look after, and we train our beneficiaries through our banking officers to look after their own activities within the village, within the societies, and empower the people to face any serious action or risk or shocks or any challenge. Therefore, I think the regulation part, I am not going to deal with that regulation because in the morning we have discussed that regulation part, and Dr. Vijay also mentioned that. Then, therefore, I am sure, I am happy to say, the future of microfinance industry in Sri Lanka will be better than before. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Karunaratne, particularly ending your presentation with a very positive note about the future of the microfinance industry in Sri Lanka. Ladies and gentlemen, now we want to open this for the floor, and we would like to entertain your questions. And each speaker shared his insights on the state of the microfinance industry in Sri Lanka and way forward. Now, we would like to get your questions. If you have questions for a particular speaker, please tell us the name to which panelist that you are addressing the question, then we will try to do justice to your question. Thank you very much. Yes, Anura.
Good afternoon. My name is Anuratha Pattu. I am the treasurer of Lanka Microfinance Practitioners Association. Thank you very much for very informative presentations about the microfinance sector in Sri Lanka. But I thought, as a practitioner and the network representative, there are some missing elements which I think we have to acknowledge, as this is an international conference which basically talks or focuses on the Sri Lankan microfinance industry. One is there is a very big government initiative which is called Samurdhi, which has about 600,000. I think these figures are little bit older. Maybe the figures that I have got last year, it has membership of about 600,000 and loan outstanding about 10 million. And in addition to that, the Lanka Microfinance Practitioners Association has about 60 members who are practicing microfinance. And recent study that we concluded about a month ago identified approximately 1 million borrowers and also 25 billion loan outstanding in Sri Lankan rupees. And therefore, and in addition to that, the cooperative sector, of course, Dr. Kirivandeniya touched upon that on Sanasa. But beyond that, there is another movement called Cooperative Rural Bank Movement, which was initiated by the People's Bank some time ago, which also contribute largely to the microfinance sector. Having acknowledged those concerns, basically the contributions to the microfinance industry in Sri Lanka